Check, 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 check.
Checkity check.
Is your mic working?
Yeah, my mic's on. Everything is golden.
Ready?
Have we started?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
You have to start it because you're the guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude.
You're the guy.
All right. Let me get my mind right. All right.
Make your minds right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, let me start this.
You're nervous.
Oh, dude, I'm not nervous. I got a lot on my mind.
Let's talk about that. Not all of it.
Not all of it.
Okay.
Welcome to another episode of Life as I Know It. My name is Ben Howard. This is Trevor Holt.
That's me.
And we have done 4 episodes so far. This will be our 5th episode.
Number 5.
And it's a lot of fun, man. I mean, we do have late nights. Tonight's not really that late. We've done some that went into the next day. But I'm curious of where this episode's going to go, because anything we do on this channel, I want it unscripted and real of what we're doing. We don't talk about what we're going to, hey, let's go into an hour segment about getting our lives better and stuff like that. Nope. We're just winging it, because that's how I like it. I like just things that are just going to come natural, and what you're thinking about, what you're feeling. And we may not get into, some topics just because, I'm dealing with that in my personal life. But we might touch on it. So we might get it vague and stuff like that. But you never know. So we could go deep into it right now, and, I might regret this podcast. But I do like it being unfiltered and just raw of like what we're actually going through and dealing with. With that said, let's start the episode. Number 5.
Ready, go.
So, Trevor,
Yeah.
what's on your mind, man?
Ben, what's on my mind?
Oh, I do have something to say before you tell me what's on your mind.
Apology.
So this is Life as You Know It. He's got his podcast. Give that a shout out.
The Lou. Come on down to the Lou. Check it out.
Both of them are on YouTube. We also have TikToks. I just want to briefly talk about the one that I'm creating today, if anyone's interested in following it. My normal one that will have like clips and stuff like this on it is at Life as I Know It 77 on TikTok. And then I have the other one I'm about to start, which is for anyone that is wanting the goal of being fit in whatever aspect that looks like to you, and just striving to get after it every day and be the best version of you could possibly be, and just pushing your body to the limits and not having any excuses. And that is at Howard's Hustle on TikTok. And it's going to be a lot of fun because I'm really passionate about that. Some of the stuff we talk about here, I'm passionate about, but it's really just to build each other up and stuff. But when we start talking about fitness, you'll see my whole attitude change, because that is like deeply what is rooted in me, through trauma or great things in my life. But when I start talking about fitness and pushing people to reach their goals and stuff like that, I love literally every aspect of it. I love listening to them talk about their struggle getting in shape. I love listening to the success. I love listening to like, man, yeah, I haven't ever taken pre-workout, and you recommend it if you want a little bit more energy. So I start with a half scoop, like you said. Dude, this is crazy. Like, I love everything about fitness, as you could tell, since I have an 8-pack. No. But I also like tacos and beer. So maybe I might start a podcast later in the future called Tacos and Beer.
Tacos and beer.
But shout out your TikTok real quick, sir.
My TikTok.
At Holt Fam.
Yeah, it's at, is that what it is? At Holt Fam, is what he's saying. But I believe it has a number in it.
I think it does.
Yeah, because I have 6 wonderful kids and I'm shouting out people's stuff. At Holt Fam 6. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Fam 6.
Yep, that's my TikTok. Check it out. Probably won't see as much stuff as Ben's, but I'll get there.
Hey man, every day we just strive to be the best we can be.
Yes,
But there's clips of what we are putting on YouTube on those TikToks. So you're like, well, maybe I'm not have an hour and 40 minutes to watch the whole thing. But I do have a TikTok. Boom, boom, boom. You scroll, you get some of the great things. And when you get time, maybe go back and watch the YouTube videos. But with all that said and out of the way, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind?
What have you been thinking about today?
Today, my biggest thought has been tackling dreams. So often we get lost in our doubt, lost in our fear of taking steps and getting out there. But I want to dream bigger and I want to tackle those dreams because so often we let a different voice guide us. And that different voice of doubt, fear, shame, guilt, all kinds of things that creep in and keep us from reaching our goal. So that's been my big thing, is just my focus point for today is to tackle those things because like a child, you have to try and fail before you get any better. So really tackling those dreams by tackling fear.
Yeah, that kind of goes, I was thinking about, man, I've been thinking about this all day, and maybe that's why I questioned some of the things I questioned like this afternoon is I want to be me to a fault.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like, I want to live a life that is unhidden. I don't want to hide anything.
Yeah.
You know, for so many years, you know, I've hid things or I've lied or I wasn't me truthfully when I should have been in certain situations and things in my life. And I don't know if it's just because since last October, I've just been changing a lot of things about me. I've been reading, you know, books and stuff like that. But I'm done lying. I'm just fed up with it, man. It's so hard to keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you tell this guy a lie, and then you come over here, you got to tell this guy a lie, and you're like, I hope I said the right lie. Like, and it's not even like a crazy lie. It's more like, when someone asks me like, hey man, did, you know, you said on your podcast, you hit the gym twice a day, every single day. It's like, yeah, I do. And then you remember like 2 weeks ago, you're like, oh man, I only hit it at lunch. I didn't go afterwards. So that's technically one. And then it's lies like that. It's not lies like, you know, man, I'm secretly killing people. But, so
my name's Dexter.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's those little lies. I'm like, why am I even, who cares what you think about me? Like, honestly. And, you know, I want to show, you know, more love and be a better person. But, you know, some days I'm going to fail. And I think it's okay to be honest about that and say, you know what, dude, I'm struggling with caring about people sometimes. But I'm trying, and, you know, I'm sorry I lied to you about this. I'm sorry that, you know, my boss or whoever says, hey, did you do everything I told you to do? And you know that there's like that one thing, like you didn't take out the trash or something somewhere, or you didn't do all the list, but you did most of it. And you're like, oh, yeah, I did everything. And he's like, oh, sweet, man. And then you leave and you're like, I better go do that last thing that I said I did. And it's like, why didn't I just be like, hey, I think I didn't get everything. Yeah. I just remembered, you know, I need to go do this because you added it to whatever the list for the week. And I lied, or I was about to lie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lie anymore. And it's like, what's wrong with that? That's actually 10 times better because I get to leave the conversation with, I got nothing to hide.
Yeah. What's there to be afraid of anyway? I think so often we go into worst case scenario when we actually thought about it, though. If we actually thought about it and know the person, like, it's like, okay, but what would they really do? nothing. Like nothing's really going to change.
Even if you don't know what would they do?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you lied to me,
Yeah.
or you were about to lie to me. It's like, well, yeah, dude, but I want to be known as an honest guy.
Yeah.
And it's like for so many years I've been known as a sneaky party guy that says that, you know, he's going to get his life in check and everything. And then, you know, the cops look you up on the sidewalk and you're like, you go to work and you say, yeah, man, I'm just trying to be the best version I can be. Didn't the cops just wake you up on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Because you drank too much? Like, this was years ago. But it's like, why lie, dude?
Yeah.
That's what I've been thinking about all day. Why lie? Like, it's almost to the point it's bothering me. And I think it should.
It
It's
should.
like, you know, I think if you really evaluate your entire day, you might find a lie in it. Might. For you, it'd be
No.
real hard. 'cause
No,
you're-
it wouldn't be hard. I can see what you mean, because all those little white lies, man, all those little white lies that come in and they disguise themselves because it's not a big deal.
Here's a big one.
It's not a big
I was
deal.
just joking.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet you were.
And eat out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. But it is a scary thing, and raising kids goes into that, Ben, because don't lie, don't lie, don't lie. And then you say, I'm just kidding. And it's like, so we can lie if we're kidding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Yeah, kids will throw those things at you, man. You learn a lot through your kids and the different lessons you're trying to teach them.
I
And-
try to be such a good dad, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then you know who's going to see you lie. You know who's
The
going to
one person I'm trying to help the most.
Yeah, they're the closest ones. The most intimate people in your life. Those ones closest are going to know everything about you. And every time you're talking to a friend or another family member, someone, whatever, just walking, whatever, they're going to know
Mhm.
when you say that. And you don't think that the kids are listening, man, but your kids are always watching. They're always listening. They're always growing and learning from you.
Dude, and worse than a family member, like knowing you're lying or whatever, you know you're lying. That
Yeah.
bothers me more than anything.
Yeah, but statistically, that's not gonna be the biggest thing, even though it should be. I mean, we should all think and be like, man,
Yeah, but
self-evaluate.
what's better? You catching yourself and it affecting you and going back to those people and
Yeah.
saying, I lied. And they're like, I know you lied. Like, no. I lied and I don't want to be known as a liar.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And one of the things this year, I can't remember if I shared it or not, but one of my personal things is if I am to go and talk about anybody negative, saying something negative about someone, my challenge for this year is if I catch myself, I have to go apologize to them. If I catch any of my family members doing it, my immediate family, my wife and kids, then I will set that up. You know what I mean? I will say, okay, you just said something negative about that person. Let's go to that person. You have 2 days. You have 2 days to go talk to them. Fix it. And then I'm going to check with them to make sure you did it. That'll keep you honest. That'll keep you true.
Man, David Goggins, he talks about that he used to be a liar and lie about everything. I mean, he would lie to his own family, his mom, his whatever. And he said the moment that he realized every time he lied, he had to go back to that person, he stopped lying.
Yeah, and holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
To those things is huge.
Not
It's
to
saying-
mention, it gets annoying, being that repetitive with yourself. Be like, oh, dude, you know what? Just to save this trip, I don't like you. I said I liked you. I don't like you. Here's why. And we could be friends in the future. Right now, I don't like you. I just don't want to come back.
Yeah.
And I know I'd have to come back. And so, and man, I listen to a lot of David Goggins. But he talks about being so accountable. I don't know if I said that right. It's weird hearing myself, dude.
Yeah, accountable is correct.
But where you can't get away with anything in your life where no one else has to tell you. Like, no one else has to come up to you and be like, hey, man, why aren't you doing this? Because you say you do it. You already tell yourself that. So you go back and correct it before someone else can correct it for you. And
You'd have to be pretty self-aware.
oh, yeah.
Because
I'm not there yet. But I'm
How
trying.
often? Yeah, how often? We lie just so we can think that we're helping someone a lot of times. Like you think about those things and it's like, I want to be true to myself. Well, how often do we lie just to make someone else feel better? And how are you going to stay true to that, Ben? You know what I mean? And that's the kind of friends you need around you, is the ones that are going to be like, well, I'm not going to lie to you. This is straight up. But that's
not
truth.
comfortable.
No, it's not comfortable.
It's a fine line between comfortability and lying.
Yeah.
Like they're so close.
Mm-hmm.
And but you want to be uncomfortable? You want to grow? You want to put yourself out there?
Man.
You want to go the road to death and destruction is wide.
Yeah.
And the road to freedom and greatness, or
Mhm.
whatever you want to, is narrow.
Yeah.
And it's like not many people want to walk that path because it hurts. It's going back to this whole reason why I'm starting this other TikTok, because I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
But the whole reason of fitness is because to get to where you need to go, there's not going to be a lot of people that are on board with you.
Yeah.
You start telling people, be like, yeah, I'm eating this strict diet because I really want to get in shape and I want to take the junk food out.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how many people is going to invite you over?
Not me.
Very few. They're going to be like, I'm not cooking for this guy because he only eats meat and chicken.
Yeah.
My family likes pizza.
Meat and chicken. That was good.
Oh,
man.
meat.
That was good.
Chicken and rice. Or meat and chicken, which is like steak and stuff like that. And then chicken, I don't classify chicken as meat. No,
I guess not.
Just, look at that. I'm lying to make myself feel better about being a dummy.
And you just admitted that.
Yep. God, man. I lie over the dumbest stuff.
Yeah, I think we all do. And catching yourself daily. Catch yourself daily on those lies and straighten them out. And it's going to get so uncomfortable, you'll stop doing it.
Dude, what's even
Hold
more...
yourself that accountable.
Dude, what's even more uncomfortable is when you have people that you work with that listen to this, and I'm going to lie again at work, and they're going to be like, "Thought you said you weren't lying."
Man, it's nothing like having a bunch of friends around you that are going to hold you accountable, though.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You say, a lie about something that they know you actually feel this way about it, and they're like, "Thought you..."
And take it serious.
Oh, man.
When they do correct you, be like, hey, you're right. Don't just shrug your shoulders and roll on. Be like, man, that's true.
Unless you're Cordell. I'll be like, I can hurt you right now. No, Cordell,
I'm sorry, man.
I call him out every episode, and guess what? He finds me at work. He found me at work today and said, "Huh, you think you're cool talking about me getting choked out," or whatever he said, because he was the one like tapping on the grass about to get, and he goes, like, "Let's do it again. Like, let's do it again."
Man, Cordell, you must be his favorite, or he wouldn't talk about you every single time.
He's a pretty good guy. He is not, and I've told him this, so I'm not lying. He is not faithful at showing up to anything that he says he'll be at, but he is a good guy to talk to and like vent, and like he's got some... I'm not lying, bro. He's got some good words and some awful words.
Yeah.
But the good ones are the ones you're searching for.
That's good. That's good.
But
when he uses wisdom,
his heart is in the right spot.
Yeah.
I will say 90% of the time his heart is in the right spot.
That's awesome.
And I'm doing my best not to lie. So I mean that. And I'll still choke you. But I can't let it go.
Yeah.
Just because the way he talks at work.
Pride. It's pride, Ben.
It is pride, dude.
It is.
I'm trying to work on pride by openly saying I want to love more people and love. So I know guys at work will call me out on it whenever I want to attack somebody.
Yeah.
They're like, "Dude, I thought you were trying to be a better guy, love people." Like, you're right.
You're going to end up loving your worst enemies because your buddies are going to keep you accountable on that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are, dude. There's this guy at work. I ain't going to say his name. You know who you are. I yell at you a lot. And I went to him today and I said, "Hey man, how's your day going? I hope it's going good. Hope you're having a good day. If you need anything, let me know."
Yeah.
I left there. I'm going to be real. I left there going, how did I do that?
Yeah.
Because this guy, this guy. But I think the more that I do that, the better, the easier it will be for me to be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm trying, man.
Yeah. Focus on the positives and the things that people bring to the table, their gifts, their callings, and different things like that. The positive things, because so often we think about, well, this is what aggravates me. This aggravates me. Instead, go around and look at people and say, I see the gift that God has given you and the change that you're going to make in this world. Focus on that rather than you speak like an idiot and annoy me.
Hearing that, my brain immediately said, it's going to be a while before I do it for him. Like, that's how much, like, I got so much to work on, bro. Oh my gosh, I got so much to work on.
Life's a journey and a process, like you said.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, that mirror that I got in my bathroom, I've thought about like erasing it and writing new ones. I got to finish those first.
Or you can have like 5 mirrors.
Nah.
Use every mirror. Like, you'll take like 10 minutes just for your bathroom, and then you can go in your kitchen and you're like, now I'm stuck at this. I won't even eat breakfast, right? You'll just be stuck at the mirror. You're about to leave the house and you'll be like, oh, now I got this mirror right by my door. And you have to spend 10 more minutes.
Do you ever struggle with something that other people say you shouldn't struggle with because you're fine?
Unpack that. What do you mean?
So I
struggle with things every day. So yes, but I don't know exactly what you're asking, how to pinpoint it.
So the question was, do you ever struggle with something that other people say you shouldn't struggle with because they think you're fine at that? I mean,
Well, you know that.
For instance, like, I'm going to use this example. I use this example all the time. Fitness. It's like people are like, you shouldn't struggle with fitness because that's not something you struggle with.
Yeah.
And you do that already. And like you do it all the time. And it's such a big struggle in my life. Not the struggle of like going to the gym, but the struggle of like, if I say like one more time, dude, I'm hearing myself say it. Of eating right and doing the things I know I should do to be more fit, which is my goal daily.
Yeah.
And then they're eating, McDonald's in the break room. And they're like, oh, dude, don't struggle with that. We're eating this. You're, going to the gym every day on lunch. But it's something I struggle with. And then, you kind of get in your head and you're like, I'm not too bad. And so you let off the gas a little bit. And then what you don't realize is they're like, oh yeah, hey, why don't you eat lunch with us? So then you start compromising some of your standards because you let off the gas a little bit. And then next thing you know, you're dealing with depression or being sad or something like that because you're like, why did I stop? Like, why did I stop? But it's like, to other people, they're like, dude, you just take this too serious. Maybe it's because it's a gift or something that comes easy to me. So,
yeah.
I didn't know if you have something like that where everyone else is like, dude, Trevor, you don't have to struggle with your relationship with God. It's so great, dude. Like, I see, the way you act and the things you do. My life is nothing like that. And then you're like, dude, every day I'm struggling.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. So I struggle with having patience, and many think I'm the most patient person they know. I get that compliment all the time. I struggle with the sin in my life, and people think that, like, that's not even a big deal. Like, why are you even stressed about that? I struggle with parenting, that I'm a horrible parent. And then people are like,
I get that.
Dude, like, you're a great parent. You care so much. You do everything you can. You provide. You do all this stuff. You work harder than anyone. Like, I mean, you do amazing. Whatever those things are.
I don't get that, but I got the other one.
Yeah. I mean, for real, like, people try to compliment me on those things, and it's like, yeah, but I see me. I see the deep down truth behind closed doors. Like, I see who I am. We all do. You see who you are behind closed doors. So when someone compliments you, you're like, yeah, thanks. That's why it's hard for me to take compliments. Yeah, thanks, but I know the truth. And the thing about it is, that's why we need to go and have the people around us, I mean, truly talk to them and say, I see the gift that God's given you. It goes back to that, Ben, because it's just looking at it and saying, you have a purpose. You do.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that and calling those things out in people encouraging them, telling them those things. Man, I'm so mad. I'm struggling with this anger. I can't stand it. I'm so pissed all the time. And people get angry, right? They're mad. And I'm just furious. I'm like, man, that's not true. You're not that. That's not who you are. And start calling people out for who they are. And that goes for everyone listening. You're not what your thoughts keep telling you that you are. Because so often we get that lie, and that lie keeps hitting us in the brain. Like, you're this, you're not good enough. You're not going to do this. You'll never reach this. That's why we don't reach our goals. Instead, listen to that other voice, that other still small voice in your head that's saying, I've made you complete. I've made you how you are. I knit you together in your mother's womb, and you have purpose. You were made to be an overcomer. And if we know that, and that's the absolute truth, we can overcome any obstacle in our way. We just have to focus on that voice and that purpose, because he's our creator.
Dude, my mind works so different. I know what you're saying.
I agree.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, last week I went home after working out at lunch.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do, like, if I do a home workout, it's like 200 push-ups. You're not cutting corners. If you don't want to go to the gym, that's fine. 200 push-ups. You put your feet underneath the couch, 200 crunches, 200 bicycles or high knees, something like that.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'll make a home workout, but then I laid in my bed, and after doing that, took me like 40 minutes to do like pretty solid workout. I laid in my bed and I was like, all right, dude, I got 2 workouts in. And then I do those workouts and stuff. And then I went and laid down on my bed, and like everything in me was like, it's not enough. It's not enough, man. Like, you're saying, you know, you're this guy, you want to, you know, do all these challenges, stuff like that. Dude, altogether, it was like 2 hours that I worked out that day.
Yeah.
And there was just something in me that was like, you got more, you got more, you got more. But whatever that is, even though it's like it beats me up every single day, it is what pushes me to run those days where I put on my shoes and I'm like, I'm running until I don't think anymore. I'm running until I feel clarity.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's mile 14 or something like that. And sometimes, you know, like that one night, I ran from pretty much my work, it's kind of around where I live, to Lowe's, and then it wasn't far enough. It's like, dude, how far do I gotta? And it's like there's something in me that's like, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Then you get to a part where you're exhausted and you start walking. You're like, is this right? It's like, keep going. Keep going, dude. I know you think that this is what you got in you. You got so much more, and you're not going to stop. I don't care what you're thinking about. Just keep going. Oh, you want to go do this? Don't care. Keep going. And it's like, well, how, you know, I'll have a talk with myself, like, how far am I going to go? Like that hill right up there. And then it's like that voice comes in my head and it goes, you can't even see where you're going. It is that far. And it's like, I can see 2 miles. And, but whatever that is, it's like that fire, whatever it is, it just pushes me and pushes me and pushes me. And I felt it ever since October. I've always felt something like that would come in like little bitty waves. But it's something, I don't know, man. It's something about like reading books that are just like, they open your mind of like, you didn't look at life this way. It's the people that like reach out to me and talk to me and they're like, hey man, like, you know, I need help in this area or something like that. Most of the time it's fitness. And I'm like, all right, dude. And they're like, what do you do when you can't stop? I'm like, run another 20 miles. Yeah. What are you talking about? And it's like, I'm not telling you to do that, but you know, David Goggins says when you think you're at your limit, you have another 40%. It's a 60-40 rule that he does, or I think that's right. But most people only reach 60% of their output and they think that they're hitting 100. And
I believe it.
yeah, and it's like, you know, dude, in every aspect of your life, when you're at work and you're like, all right, man, well, I'm going to go do this, and I know I could do a lot more, but just enough to get by, just enough to fill the 8 hours or fill the, and it's like,
Yeah, Ray Lewis. I heard a story about Ray Lewis. I don't know.
what an animal.
Yeah, for sure. Just watch his highlights. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
gosh, pump you up for anything. But he's very inspirational as well. But do you know his story? Do you know about his mom?
I listened to it a long time ago, man.
Yeah. So awesome story. His mom wouldn't buy him a deck of cards. He really wanted a deck of cards. He finally got this deck of cards, but and she threw it at him. And her boyfriend at the time was beaten on her, and Ray couldn't do anything about it. And so Ray used those cards, and he would draw a card. If it was a 2, he'd do 2 push-ups. If it was a 5, 6, he'd do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it went up to like 25, and like an ace was 25, and he'd work his way through that deck, and he would do it, and then he would switch to sit-ups, and he'd work his way through that deck, and he would do different exercises through those reps.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah, and he wouldn't stop. And one of the things he said that reminds me of this is he would go until he hurt so bad, till the pain was hurting so bad, and then he'd hear his mom crying and saying, "That's real pain." So he kept going, and he kept pushing, and
you're about to fire me up with this, bro.
He found something there.
Fire me up.
He found something there, Ben, and that's where it comes. It's where that clarity comes, where you know there's a purpose, you know there's a reason, right? And if you dig down deep enough, and you feel the pain, hey, you're about 60%, right? Because you still got 40 more,
Dude.
and that's where that pain comes in. And that, hey, Ray Lewis, he got big enough, he got strong enough, till he could say, "Hey, you ain't touching my mom another time," and she didn't have to cry no more. Yeah, think about that.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
You hit me with it.
Some of you guys aren't gonna remember that after even this episode or 10 minutes farther into it. I'm gonna remember that for a while, because that's how my brain works. That right there, oh, dude, you have no idea.
I'm telling you,
You have no idea, dude.
Hear it from the horse's mouth. Go to research that video.
You might not see me again.
Oh, dude.
I might just keep running.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, yeah, dude, you don't. Oh,
but dig down to where that pain is, and as soon as you feel that pain, you think this story ain't gonna hit you.
I think some of the reason why I have to run that far is because I've spent so many years living a surface personality.
Yeah.
That I'm finally getting to the point where I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
And I think I am at the point where he is tired and beaten, and he hears his mom. I feel like that's where I am in my life, dude, where I'm like, I've given everything, and there's something inside of me that's going, this is why.
Yeah.
This is why I do it. This is why. And, oh, dude, I'm not going to forget that. Oh, my goodness. I need to, I don't even remember that part. So maybe I watched the wrong one.
I'm telling you, look it up. It talks about his mom and going into that. And then and in the background of this one video, dude, as he's telling the story, I'm seeing him just light people up. And it's like, oh, that because Ray Lewis is Ray Lewis.
Dude, Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of NFL players talk about when they looked across the field, running back. I forgot which running back it was. And he said he saw him looking into his eyes. And he didn't want to break contact because he didn't want to show Ray that he's like, I ain't no punk, man.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, right.
And yeah. When you look into the devil.
Yeah.
No. And Ray Lewis didn't blink or anything. And then he like tried to look away, like the running back. He goes, all right, that's enough. Like I don't want to rattle his cage.
Yeah.
And he said as soon as he looked back at Ray Lewis, Ray did like one of these. Like, come my way, man. Come my way. And he goes, at that moment, he goes, I knew I wasn't making it through the gap. He goes, it's like he knew that I was getting the ball.
He could read the whole thing.
Yeah. And so, oh, dude, man, how much more do we have? Gosh, man, I've been living like a punk, dude.
Yeah, and
God,
it's
I'm living
because
like a
we
punk.
run from the pain, and that's the biggest part of that story that really hit me, is because you look at our culture, you look at ourself. If you just stare at yourself deep down and be self-aware, you're gonna see that as soon as you feel pain, you run. As soon as you feel pain, you stop,
Dude.
you quit, you give up. That's not what we were made to be, man.
Bruh.
Not made who we were made to be. I mean, it's not who we were made to be.
I can't, dude. I'm getting emotional, bro.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's why I'm getting
Yeah.
emotional.
Cut, and he's gonna go work out, and then maybe come back and continue later.
Here's why I'm getting emotional. Because I've been a runner my whole life.
Yeah,
My whole life. Didn't want to deal with my mom issues? Run. Didn't want to deal with me and my dad not having a good relationship for the longest time? Run. Didn't want to deal with me addressing issues that I wish I would have with dating and stuff like that? Run. Didn't want to have to deal with an uncomfortable situation in a church that I went to? Run. Didn't want to deal with a friend that I've known my entire life and I didn't know how to address that we were going in two different directions, so just ditch them? Run. Didn't want to deal with some things that I know I should have dealt with at work a long time ago? Run. Didn't want to deal with later on me and my dad's relationship and us not really seeing eye to eye on stuff and me not want to have a conversation why I think, my dad could pass away and I never had the relationship I wanted to. Run. So my entire life I've been running. Let me tell you something, dude.
go ahead.
I don't know how to deal with what I'm doing right now. And it's because it's all true, man.
Yeah,
I've been running, I did a lot of stuff. There's things that I did at jobs in my past. I'm not going to say anything past that because I don't want to affect anybody else of whatever damage I've already done in their life. And I ran and lied to them about what I wanted in life because I was running from stuff I should have known I should have dealt with. I should have dealt with it. And I think I'm in a situation in my life where it's like, I'm just going to be honest and truthful. And for what I've done up to this point, I'm sorry.
yeah,
For what I've done up to this point, as a friend, I'm sorry. For what I've done up to this point as a husband, as a father, I'm sorry. For what I've done as a coworker, I'm sorry. And I'm not saying it's a fresh start because the past is the past and it's there. But what I am saying is I am changing. I am changing who I am and who I want to be as a man, who I want to be as a person, who I want to be as a father, who I want to be as all of the above. And you think that's pain? Being honest? Wait until you get the check for lying for so many years. For lying to your friends, to your family, to your coworkers, to yourself. That's the biggest check that's going to be written, is you're going to lie to yourself to the point that you don't even recognize yourself and you're contemplating suicide because you have lied for so long that you can't even be honest with yourself on how to deal with stuff. So I'm sorry for who I've been, but you won't see that guy anymore. I was in a relationship for a while, and the last thing I left with this person is, I'm sorry, I could have done better, and I will not be that guy anymore.
yeah.
I won't be. And it's not like I was horrific. It wasn't, you get in a relationship, you get complacent, you throw things to the side. One of the biggest things that I was doing was not being helpful. Not being helpful around the house, and I'd use an excuse like, oh, I'm working and stuff like that, and that they work too. Not being helpful with whatever animals, not being helpful with as much bills as I possibly could. And looking back on it, I was complacent. I wasn't what I should have been, and for that I am sorry. And that's what I left them with. I'm sorry. I'm not that same guy. I won't be that same guy. When you see me next, you're not going to be seeing that guy. You're going to see a whole different guy. And since last October, dude, I've been working on myself, dude. Working on myself to the extent where I have nights I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, dude. I just told somebody at work, I said, you know what's crazy is you guys see this tough guy who, oh, don't say that to Ben. Don't say that to Ben. He'll get a hold of you. He'll do all this stuff. And I was like, oh man, emotions. And I told him, I said, dude, nobody sees, and he's the only one who knows this. I didn't tell my dad. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell nobody. And till now, hey, new me, new guy, dealing with it, honesty. And I said, dude, no one sees 3 o'clock in the morning. And this was in December 2022, a month or so ago. I was crying like a baby on my bed in the corner because of the dark, and I just felt like something was in my house.
Yeah.
I felt like something was walking in my house, and I was just, dude, I couldn't stop crying. I don't know what was going on. And the only thing I could think was, if something comes to that door, I'm attacking with everything in me as I cry. Like, I just had so much emotion and anger, and I got to the point where I said, screw it. I got up, I grabbed my broom out of the bathroom, and I walked through every inch of my house. I went to all 3 bedrooms. I went to my bathroom. I checked underneath my couch, which is 3 inches off the ground. I checked underneath my bed and the closets, everywhere, trying to find this guy that was in my house that I couldn't get it out of me. I ended up unlocking my front door, walking outside saying, I'm going to beat the crap out of whoever this is, man. And it was so much fear, and then immediately so much courage. And I said, none of you guys at GAR would know that, ever know that, because I perceive as I'll take care of whatever gets in my way. I'll take, whatever happening. And it's like, I told my buddy at work this at his house, and he goes, dude, that is crazy. For one, you're crazy. And I was like, yeah, I could be crazy. I said, I've dealt with so many things in my life that I've had so many things in my life that I haven't dealt with, that it's like, sometimes, dude, I'll have a dream like it's real, like a lucid dream. And I'll wake up still feeling like I'm like, what is going on? And so the thing about you being real is that, and honest, is that you can go to those people like my buddy at work and tell him that. And he's like, dude, I got you, man. Anytime you need to talk, anytime you need to reach out. And he still stands by that. Someone like you in my life, anytime I need to talk, anytime I need to chat. My dad, which, we've hung out more this last year than most of our years. And it's because I want to make a purpose of being like, hey, you want to go eat dinner or lunch sometime? You want to, and, cause my dad's not really a social butterfly.
Yeah.
My dad's at his house 24/7 or work. And, so, it's a growing ground for both of us, but dude, I just unpacked it a lot there.
Yeah. So since you unpacked all of that, and take a break for a second.
Oh man.
Try to collect your emotions, because we're going to dive into it a little bit.
Yeah. Honesty.
Almost for like Joseph, you know what I mean? Like interpreting a dream, but it was reality.
Yeah.
Because all the things you're saying right now, Ben, everything that you're saying, man, and me getting that picture of you walking through that.
Yeah.
It's like you were afraid of yourself, because you were the only one that was there. And then you grew to the point of facing it. And in that moment, December's been a month that you've talked about a lot. So there's been a lot of change going on in your life. There's been a lot of reset going on. And it's like, is that what's going on there, Ben? Was that moment the real fear? Was that fear of yourself, of who you thought you were, or of who you knew that this is who I'm supposed to be? I can't dive into that. I don't know, but just picturing you and being, you know what? I'm facing it. I'm facing my past. I'm facing whatever I need to. I'm going to face it. and you defeated that and overcome that point, that moment, whatever it was,
Yeah.
that fear, to truly face yourself. And that is a big deal, because again, you know everything about you.
Everything. Yeah.
You know that. And there's no lying,
No,
Ben.
dude.
There's no lying. And at that moment, you had to just be 100% honest and true and say, I'm done hiding. I'm done running. Because one of the things you said, Ben, is that you ran.
A lot. Years.
And you're at a place now, you're done running. You're done.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot to unpack in that, man.
But you made that decision to be.
Yeah, because I could have said while I was in the corner of my bed, I'm not scared.
Yeah.
But I couldn't because I knew the truth.
Mm.
And in life, a lot of times you'll say, I'm not scared, and life will go, yeah, you are. Because you know you are. And, you know, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not scared. I'm on my bed. I'm okay. You're crying. I know you're not okay. I know I'm not okay. And it's like, that's why, even in the last episode, you know, we talked about being real with yourself and being honest and being accountable. And I'm just at that point, man, where I don't care. Like, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to explain what I just said, because people can take this the wrong way. I do not care if you like me, if you want to hang out with me, if you want to be a part of my life, any of that. What I mean by that is I'm done putting on a fake Ben so that you can like a fake Ben. I'm done living according to other people's standards of what they think I should be. And I do care, and I do want to show people love and compassion and kindness and gentle and a lot of stuff that I haven't been for years. But I will not compromise who I am and who I want to be as a man, as a truthful person, a loving, caring, kind, compassionate, and someone that someone can say, oh, Ben said this, and they can truly say, no, that's not Ben. That does not sound like Ben. And I haven't been that for years, entire life. Let's be honest, my entire life up to December of 2022, a month and a half ago. And I'm just, you know, I don't want it to sound like I'm coming off as a punk or a jerk or anything like that, because I do need people in my life. I do want people in my life. I do want friends. I don't want to be a man on an island by himself. I do want all this stuff, but I will not compromise who I want to become on this earth and what is best for me and my daughter and my friends and my family. And I will definitely make mistakes. I will, but I bet you in 6 months, you're not even going to recognize me. Because if you talk to me in 6 months, there's people that are talking to me now that are like, I never thought you would say some of the things you're saying. I never thought you'd be that open about some of the things you're being open about. I never thought that you would come and tell me, hey man, I love you. I hope you have a good day. And I'm sorry if I've said anything to hurt your feelings in the past, because I've told multiple people that. And when I originally was walking towards them, they thought I was going to either insult them, try to grab them as like wrestling. And I said, hey man, give me a hug. And they're like, what are you going to do to me? Yeah. I was like, give me a hug. I was like, I care about you. And sometimes I'm a jerk, and I don't mean it to come off as a jerk. Sometimes I do mean it to come off as a jerk, but I am changing every day to be a better man and a better friend and a better example of what love and compassion and gentleness looks like. And dude, I'm just I'm just out here trying, man. And that, I think that's all you can ask for, is give it your best 100%. And not everyone's going to like you, and that's fine.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this and they're going to say, okay, so this is what Ben is doing with his life. So with people who are out there thinking, I don't know what to do with mine. What's the benefit of going and being this honest person? How's that going to help me? What's that going to do for me? So facing this side of you and basically just giving up on it and saying, I'm not that person no more. I'm chasing after this, who I want to be, who I want to become, who I know that I was created to be. Why? What's your why behind that?
There's,
So that you
there's
can
a lot
help.
of whys.
Well,
Here's the main one. If I had to put one above any other one, there's top two. There's top two.
Top two.
Okay, there's two, maybe three. Okay, but there's so many good things about living a life like this. For one, I don't have to worry about if I go and talk to anybody, whether or not I have to change who I am. I don't have to.
Yeah.
And if you live a lie and you live in a bunch of lies, you adapt to whoever you go talk to, of like, oh, now I gotta act like this because I'm with this person. Now I gotta act like this, and now if we're gonna gossip over here, now I gotta go gossip over here and act like I'm friends with them. But when I'm with these people, I'm gonna talk bad about them and gossip over here. And dude, the freedom that you don't have to lie, you don't have to do nothing different. Whether I'm talking with Trevor, whether I'm talking with my buddy Cam, whether I'm talking, I'm just gonna be real. Whether I'm talking to my ex, whoever, whether I'm talking to my boss, whether I'm talking to a guy at the gym, whether I'm talking to a random guy at Walmart, I don't have to change at all. This is who I am. This is who I want to become. And the freedom in that alone is so great, because I don't ever go to sleep going, I hope they don't find out. Find out what? Ask me. I'll tell you the truth. Like the freedom of that alone means that I can be me to the fullest. I don't have to fake nothing. And the second biggest thing is everyone will respect you more. Everyone. Those friends that you're saying, oh yeah, those are my real friends. You start being honest, and they're going to be like, took some courage to say that.
Yeah.
It took like, wow, like, I can go. One of the biggest reasons why a lot of people say that Trevor stands out to them is because this dude is honest. A lot. Like, he'll say what he means. He'll say what he's thinking. He'll say, he lives his life one scripture at a time, tries to daily.
For sure.
And he's not perfect. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. And in people, if you talk to, I know people right now that I can go to and say, what do you think about Trevor? And they're like, dude, Trevor is a God-fearing man. He's always telling the truth. He's always doing it. And it's like, I mean, even our parts department at GAR, they're like, dude, Trevor's so great because he comes in here, he's positive, he's all this stuff. And so, the freedom of everyone else is like, no, we know who Ben is.
Yeah.
That's exactly who he is. So now it affected you. So you have freedom. Now it's affecting everyone else, because they don't have to question whether or not Trevor's talking bad about him, because they know Trevor wouldn't talk bad about him.
Yeah.
The third thing about living a life open and honest is that this one's going to be your family, my daughter, who I'm talking about, will see that no matter how hard it got, no matter what we went through, my dad stood as a man, disciplined and walking in no lies and freedom, and not having to deceive anything or manipulate to get what we wanted in this world.
Yeah.
And I think that, having my daughter, because she's 3 right now, she can't really retain a lot. I mean, do you remember anything when you were 3?
No, negative.
No.
Not even a little bit.
But it's very important that I walk this so that years to come, she can walk that and go through it.
Yeah.
And
she is learning those things, though.
yeah,
She is, because I mean, just watching you up there with her today, and seeing those things and seeing how she operates with other people and all that stuff, she operates like you. She looks at things like you do. You pointed out, I know this is a serious moment, but you pointed out that my oldest took a remote away from my son, and then she was about to hit somebody because it's like she saw something that was injustice. It wasn't right. It was wrong, and she wanted to fix it.
Yeah, she's
And
like,
it's
I'll
like-
go swing on.
Yeah, but she's only 3.
Yeah.
Where'd she learn that, Ben? You know what I mean? Who does that sound like, Ben? You know what I'm saying? So you see those things. They see it. They see. And that's when they're learning. They're a sponge. So to say they can't retain things, it's a false image that we have in our mind. It won't matter. So just so that we all know, they're sponging everything, and they're learning everything from every move, every attitude, and everything you got. And man, it's evident for sure.
Yeah. And so, you know, having them look at that and stuff like that. But just to get back to the first one of the freedom of going to bed and not having to think about who said what. And because a lot of people, I'm going to use me. A lot of times I would think, man, if that one of the best things about living a truthful and honest life about everything is, you know, I used to think, you know, what are they saying about me or something like that, or and then I would be like, oh well, they're justified in saying that because that's what I did and this blah blah blah. And I'd be like, I don't want to run into them again, you know, because then it's gonna be awkward because this or that. And it's like, I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because I'll if you ask me right there, I'll tell you the truth of what I feel, of what I think. And so it's not like you're living, well, you're not living a lie.
No, not anymore.
Yeah. And so, you know, anybody from my past could walk up to me right now and be like, hey dude, you talk about the stuff on your podcast, but you did this. All right, let's talk about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was a different person. I'm sorry. It doesn't even justify what I did. It doesn't, because it's not a cop-out. I'm not saying, well, I'm a different guy, so you can't hold me as standard. No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about why you still feel like it affects you, and let's get past it. And so that's dude, I'm telling you, man, that just doing this thing and living a life like that, there's so much freedom in it. And I don't know how to express it other than that.
Yeah. No, and I think you're doing a great job at hitting it. I mean, everything that you've unloaded so far has turned this episode into like a mind-blowing episode. Like for me, like I'm sitting over here because once again, it's real, unscripted, 100% off the cuff. And for me, sitting here, I'm just like, dang, like he is at this point of thinking about lying a lot, like you're getting rid of it. And really coming to that point of this is the truth. I'm honest. This is just what it is.
Dude,
so obviously it's been on your mind a lot.
Dude, it has, man. It has, because lying gets you as far as lying.
Yeah.
Telling the truth, there's
Circus.
no limits.
Yeah, but it's a circus, man. You get yourself in that circus, you never get out of it. Until you make up that mind to say, hey, I'll fight that fight. I'll walk through that fire of telling the truth. I'll walk through that hard, uncomfortable position of saying, okay, this is the reality. This is what it is. I've been afraid of you knowing this for years because I didn't want you to see who I truly am. Now, here I am. This is who I am. This is who I was created to be. This is who I want to be. This is who I'm chasing after. And not going to hide behind the lie anymore. Man, I bet you get a lot different attention. You'd get a different view of other people as well. You'd see who your real friends are, of course. But then,
oh, do you?
You do, and I'll be honest with you, Ben. Like when you say me and how I try to be as true as I can, and I wasn't always that way. I came to a realization because I noticed that there was a certain man in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I was around him,
Mm-hmm. You change.
I changed,
Ugh.
and
That's everyone in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I would
Yeah,
be like, oh, I'm gonna adapt to the.
that's who it was, and then now you do need to adapt to certain situations. All right, like to a certain situation, you need to act your role. You know what I mean? Because
Explain that.
if you go into a room,
Mm-hmm.
and you take it over just because you're an arrogant prick and that's not your position at that time, you know what I mean? You can play your role. Play your role in this situation. If you're called to lead in that moment, in that group, in that point, do it. But don't cripple others. They'll never grow.
What I would say is be honest, brutally honest with yourself and with others, but know when to lead, know when to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Know when to lead, know when to follow. Because you don't want to just go in and take it over because you have the ability.
Yeah.
Because then you'll never let anybody else grow. And that's something that I would say is narcissistic, is totally selfish, and something you need to
Yeah,
run
because
from.
I don't want. Some people might hear that and go, "Okay, well, I can walk into a room and I'll change who I am and not really speak about how I feel or anything like that." Here's what I would do, because I see your view, but this is where standards come in.
Okay.
Because I have standards in my life, even though I'm really honest,
Yeah.
or striving to be the most honest that I can possibly be, and how I feel and what I should do and being better and caring about people. And even today, I was like, oh man, like I should do this. And someone said, I see what you're about to do. And I'm like, I can't. I'm trying to be a better person. Like I'm trying to work on it. Is be teachable.
Yeah.
Because with my standards and stuff like that, you know, I do have the goal of going to the gym an hour, reading, starting my day off positive, but I wouldn't be so arrogant where I'm like, no, I know how to start my day off positive every single day, that I can't take advice from someone else on how they start their day off positive. And they're like, well, you know, sometimes I like to sit, cross my legs and put my hands in the air and just like, all right, man, what am I going to do today? And it's like, wow, that's lame. I'm not going to do it. And it's like, I see what you're saying about being arrogant and stepping into a situation. But I don't want you to compromise being open and honest.
Yeah. No, never.
Yeah. Man, it's hard to find how to adapt in certain situations and still be your true self. Does that make sense?
It does, but I think it goes back to your standards, man. Because I mean, I can be whoever I need to be in the certain situation that I'm walking through. You can adapt to that situation, because adapt and overcome. We were made to do that. You're made to adapt to the situation and overcome whatever battle is coming your way. That doesn't mean you're changing who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're not acting outside of your character. You're not acting outside of your integrity. You're not saying, oh, well, I'm going to switch up my standards because now I'm not going to go by my standards because this is too hard. I'm not going to go by my standards because now it's getting too hot in here. No, that's not it. But you adapt to whatever you're walking through, and you overcome whatever obstacle is in your way. Because at one time you could only run 5 miles. At one time you could only do 100 push-ups,
Mm-hmm.
all those things, you know what I mean? But you
Mm-hmm.
adapt it and you overcome, right? That's when you dig down to that pain and you keep going. That's when you dig down to that challenge. And it is about fitness. And I know that's awesome for you, but I think it's a big life lesson is when things get hard. One of the things that you've done, Ben, that you've really revealed a lot of those weaknesses that you're overcoming,
Mm-hmm.
because I ran. You said that a lot. So that is the pain that you're facing now.
Mm-hmm.
Because on things that you used to run from, you're admitting and doing live on things going, well, now I'm telling the truth. Hey, this is what I said about you. This is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I feel. All those things. So those things that you would usually run, hide, and keep hidden, right?
It's like
You're overcoming those
dude.
things.
I got so many things right now in my brain. I'll use this example because these people do know my heart. We haven't talked in a long time. Well, me and one of them have once in the last 3 months. But I've known this couple for years. I've known this one individual since I was 4. And I was in a spot in my life where I was reading this book and trying to deal with so many things at one time because there's so much wrong in my life that I told everyone a lie. And the lie being, well, they just want this in their life and I want this. And it's 2 different things and we're going 2 different ways. It's true, but it was a lie true. And what I mean by that is, yeah, we were going 2 different ways in our life, but I shut everybody down in my life because there was so much that this book showed me that I was doing wrong, that instead of just addressing it one by one, I just shut down all of it. And then I justified shutting it all down because, well, they just want to do that with their life. And anyone who knows me knows who these people are. But the truth is I had a talk with one of these people and they said, "Hey, what are you up to on Snapchat?" And I said, "Nothing much. I haven't talked to you guys in a long time." And they said, "Yeah, we've missed you. Like, you know, the other person said you would always come back around and it was just a matter of time, but I just want to let you know that we missed you." And it broke a lot inside of me because I justified what I was doing because I was bettering myself. And in reality, I shut everybody out of my life because I was too scared to be honest with some of those people. And so I think in life, if you want to be serious about being honest and being truthful, you need to address some things with those people instead of just saying, "I'll fix it. I'm just going to delete everyone out of my life." And maybe that's where you're talking about, as in, like, there's a way to do it and not be a jerk about it.
Most definitely.
You know, there's a way to, and so, oh man.
Well, and just to touch on where I was going earlier, Ben, is it's not easy either.
None of this is.
It's not, no, because Ben, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the other side of it, because you see me and you say, "He's true, he's truth, he's honest," all those things. There's a big price with it too. What? Like, it's all good. It can be for sure, but then it also gets lonely too.
It's narrow.
Yeah,
that road.
And the reason I say that is because when someone, if you're just truth and you just talk truth, someone will become hungry for that truth. They'll hang around until you have to tell them the truth.
Oh, that's so true.
Then you tell them the truth, and then they feel
They're
ashamed.
like, "Oh, that hurts."
Ashamed. They feel guilt. They feel all this stuff, so they go and hide. Or they start, I'm telling you, Ben, this is the craziest thing. Craziest thing with this.
They start lying.
No, they don't come around. They stop coming around. They'll cut you out of their life. Why, Ben? Because they're mixed up in sin. No.
Likes drama.
I'm telling you, it's the craziest thing. Dude. It's the craziest thing. But you can have friends and be close, acquaintances, whatever you do, however you look at it. And then when they start, if you live that truth, they start going the wrong way, stepping in an old way they used to, or going down the wrong road, however you want to look at it, they will cut you from their life. They will avoid you like the plague because they know this person, this person's going to be honest. They're not going to feed me something that I want to hear. They're just going to be real. They're going to be truthful. And they're going to say, this is the truth.
The reason
And
why,
it's painful.
dude, I think the reason why they do that because they already know the truth,
Absolutely.
and they don't want to hear it from you, bro.
Why? Why would they want to hear it?
I had a lot of friends when, me and my buddy Todd, we had a house in St. James. Everybody would come over, dude. Every weekend. I don't care whose hair is this story. I really don't. It's honest, it's truthful. And that's what my life is about. I won't say any names, but you know who you are. Everybody would come over.
Yeah.
We would smoke weed, do bong riffs. And since Todd has not done any of this for years, so, but if you ask him, hey, did you used to do this back in, 10 years ago or whatever it was,
Yeah.
he'd be like, yep, that was our house. Thanks, Ben. And because it was mainly me, if it was up to Todd would just be like, I'm going home, like playing video games or something like that, like just chilling. I was always the one, I put the blame on me, that would say, hey, let's have some people over. I'll grab some beer and stuff like that. And, play games and, get high and all this stuff. And I had so many people that always wanted to come and hang out with me.
Yeah.
Dude, because I was the party house, man.
Mm.
I was the house where we would do a whole bunch of stuff and no one would tell anybody. Bro, there's secrets that no one has still ever told anybody. And it's because that's what I was giving out. Like, dude, we're here to party, we're here to get crazy. And everybody was on board. And then, you start doing different things in your life where you're like, I don't think I want to, drink as much as I used to. I'll use that as an example because this has happened in the past. And then some people stop hanging out with you, or they'll be like, yeah, I'm coming over. Let's choose a night, and I'm gonna bring alcohol and stuff like that. And you're like, I don't really drink anymore. And they're like, maybe some other time. It's like, well, you only. You got certain people in your life, anyone who's listening, that only come over and hang out with you when you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing, but you're just doing it because you want someone around you. You clean up your life and you start telling the truth, you will find somebody that will come and hang out with you. It may not even be those same people. You're like, well, I can't just change friends I've known my entire life. You want the same results that you've gotten your entire life? Or are you going to change? Who's going to be the one to step up and do the right thing? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be somebody else? And there's a lot of stuff that there's a cost. There's a cost right now. If you start telling the truth and live a truthful life from here on out, there's a cost to that. There's also a cost if you decide that, nope, I'm going to keep lying. I'm still going to keep doing the things that I know I shouldn't be doing. And no one's going to find out. There's a cost. And that cost is more than what you're willing to give. I promise you that. If someone would have told me back in the day that the cost that I had to walk through was that, I would have stopped everything immediately. Because there's no price tag on what I walked through in some of my life. And most of it, I put myself there. So what are we doing? Stop doing the things you should not be doing right now. Because you do not want to see the check at the end of this run. I promise you that. I promise you. Get your life together. Wake up tomorrow and say, I'm changing. Write whatever you need to on your mirror. And be the person you should be, bottom line. Stop messing around. This is life. You have one shot at this. You can't go back. I can't go back to that time of us partying and go, hey guys, no one knows this, but within 10 years, our lives are going to be wrecked because of the decisions we made now and the secrets we have now. Those secrets that I made as a teenager ruined stuff in my 20s. I know you can't add that up in your head. You're like, well, how did it? Because I was willing to lie to death do us part, all of our people, our group, that it ruined marriage after marriage after marriage after friendship after this broken relationship and that broken relationship. And there's people that's still dealing with alcohol and can't get past alcoholism because of something that we hid back when we were doing it all. If you would have told me that this is the cost, that up until 2022, Ben, you're not going to get your life right in the area of just simply stop lying and living an honest life and ruining so many relationships because you aren't intelligent enough to just be like, we need to get out of this. And so I would take that angle and say you need to do that. But I would also say, if you're that friend right now where you're like, I see it, but they don't. Help where you can, get out. Help where you can, get out. There's a reason why lifeguards say when you go up to somebody swimming to go up and put your foot out and say, hey, I'm right here. And why you don't just go up and grab them? Because they will grab you and drown you. What is worse, to lose one life or two? So you go up, say, hey, I'm here to help you. I see this in your life. You know, we do that with each other sometimes. Like, hey, dude, we need to do this so we can grow, so we can get better at it. And you go up to that person and you say, I'm here to help you. I want you to get through this. I care about you. I don't want you to die. I know you don't see the end of the road, but there's a wreck down there and I don't want you to slam into it. So you need to slow down and start living your life like you're paying attention to it. You're paying attention to the road, because at the end of it's a wreck. And if they say, leave me alone, I got this. All right. All right. Good luck. And it's like,
that's straight from personal experience, Ben. So it's not like you're telling a story.
no, this is, dude,
It's truth.
this is truth, and why it hits home, because I went through a divorce. Almost every person that was in that group has went through a divorce. There's people in that group that still deal with alcohol because of what we hid. There's still people that deal with drugs because we hid that we were doing drugs. There's still people that deal with not feeling wanted or accepted and doing everything because someone else does, and so you never actually felt that because your whole entire life's a lie. You've lied about everything. You've literally lied about everything, and you wonder why you don't have any close friends. Because we all lied for each other. And then we realized, oh, we're in a bad situation. We're in a bad spot in our life. Who are we going to go to? The same person I've been lying to my entire life? And then you find out that those people are trying to get their lives better and not lie. And so you're like, well, I got to go lie with somebody else. Dude, there is a cost to what you're doing today. What I do today, there's a cost. It's not, oh, I'll figure it out next week. You might not make it to next week. And let's say if you do, what is stopping you from saying, oh, I'll start it next week? There's a reason why we have New Year's resolutions, because every year we get on this high horse of like, we're going to do this, and we don't have standards for ourselves. And so when the waves come and start pushing us around, we got nothing to stand on. You have to understand there is a cost for what you did in 2023. And if you're out of your mind if you don't think it's going to affect your 2024. And so on, and so on, and so on. 2013 is when I graduated. Since then, in 2013, my dad said, don't move out of the house because you're not ready. You're too prideful. And you need to stay in the house and collect some money so that you learn how to save money before you get out of the house. I still struggle with pride because I told my dad, nah, I'm a man. I can do this. I got this. I still struggle with finances Because pride will tell you you got it when you've never had it. Pride will say you can go do anything you want, no matter even if you've known how to do it. How dumb is that? I have never taken an 18-wheeler engine apart and put it back together. Guys at GAR have. Pride will say, Ben, you don't need anybody. Get in there and start taking it apart. An N13, a big engine. And I just start ripping stuff apart. Where's pride when it needs to go back together? Where's pride? Because pride runs. When stuff gets hard, pride runs. And you don't realize that until it's too late. And you know what comes knocking on the door? Depression. Saying, why did you do that? You know you can't do that. Where's pride? It's gone.
You might want to end it.
I got so much in me, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'll end it with this. However long this goes. This subject. What? How am I going to put this? It's the unknown. The unknown. The unknown of what tomorrow brings. The unknown of your consequences, or of your actions, of what the consequences are. The unknown of those little white lies. How much does it mean to you? That's the question I want to leave you with. How much what you're doing right now, how much does that mean to you? Saving those friendships that are so wrapped up in bad things that you know will ruin your life. How much does that mean to you? You're okay with giving your life? The stuff I struggle with, how much does it mean to me to deal with them so my daughter doesn't have to? In your life, how much does it mean that stuff that you hang on to that you know you should let go, but you're like, I can't let go? What about your kids?
It doesn't mean enough. It doesn't pay enough. It's not that important. It's just realizing that comes with the life lesson of time. And when you lose it, there ain't no getting it back. And that brings a whole new reality. And that's evident even in everything you're saying, Ben.
It brings me to, I'm going to bring up a possibly a rough subject with you. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
Okay.
You talked about your dad and like not having a solid relationship with him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, your kids' generation's not going to know. And it got me thinking about like, man, how much did I hang on to in my past with my dad that is going to cost our relationship now? And it's like, my dad's still here. His dad has passed away.
Yeah.
And it's like, how much did you hold on to where you're like, I'm not going to call him for that. I'm not going to call him about that. I feel this and stuff like that. But my dad wouldn't understand. It's like, well, you never gave him a chance.
Yeah. That's a tough one for me, Ben, because you have to know the big picture. And my dad, he chose a different lifestyle for a while, and because he chased that, I went from living with him to living with my grandmother. Then we ended up moving states, and I would talk to him, but he would be in a halfway house. He'd be in prison. He'd be in jail, and in and out of different places like that. So I never had the chance to call him because he never had a constant phone. So I didn't know how to get a hold of him. Ben, there was no researching and trying to find him. I mean, now you probably could because everything's easy to get, but no, I didn't have that option at that time. So I never had. I don't have no regret with that because when he did move back into my life, I spent every moment I could with him. For the last 2 years of his life, I spent every moment I could with him because I got to know my dad. I finally got to know who he was before he was a drunk version of that person or a high version of that person, someone that was strung out on drugs or alcohol, and drugs and alcohol is a big deal. It really changes who you are, changes who you can be. I wouldn't advise anybody going and chasing that rabbit because it's a horrible thing. It'll wreck your whole family. So I got to know I got to realize who my dad was, what he stood for. And I'm telling you, Ben, in those 2 years, I learned so much about life. It's unreal because the road that man walked on was full of darkness in every aspect of the way. The stories that I've heard are so bad in certain ways that, like, there's more because no one tells their worst story.
No, dude.
So and the things that the deep dark places that he went to, and he taught me through doing those things not to. He and I can't say that's for all of us, me and my brothers, but he did teach me a lot in those 2 years. But I have no regrets in my decision over that. But I didn't have one to make in a lot of those things. So to say, man, at 19 and before, that's when he passed away. I believe I was 19 years old. So prior to that, I don't have any regrets. I did what I needed to do to be safe and made the decisions I had to, even at a young age, to go live with different people and stuff like that. I did that so that it would be a better place for me to live and I'd have a better future. Because staying in the midst of those things would have led me to doing those things. And I'm glad I didn't do those things, but no regrets as far as that goes, Ben. So that's a hard one to answer and say anything but that, as I have no regrets.
Yeah. My dad's been in my life for all my life, pretty much. And I think about that sometimes, like, man, what is the cost, or what is the value that I'm putting into things? Some things I shouldn't be, some things I am, and so, like, I guess that's just been on my mind as well, other than, being honest in everything that I do from here on out. And there's a cost.
Always.
There's a cost. And if you don't, I mean, I hear it all the time at work, like, oh man, YOLO, you only got one life, man, you only got, and it's like, we all say that nonchalantly, and then 10 years passed, and you're like, what did I do for those 10 years?
Yeah.
And so whatever you guys are doing, there is a cost. And if you think, well, no one pays attention to my life, no one watches, there's always somebody watching. I promise you, you are not alone. There is always somebody watching you. And there's a cost to everything you say, everything you do. The things that you think are hidden, you might hide them from everyone else. You're not hiding them from you. Yeah. It took until 2023 for everything to catch up to me. But it caught up to me. All the lies I told my friends, the lies that, I could tell my dad, the lies that I could tell teachers, the lies that I could tell girls that I was in relationships with, the mountains and mountains and mountains of lies. And it ruined a lot.
Yeah.
Ruined a lot. ruined a lot of relationships that I had with friends, ruined a lot of relationships with girls. Lies ruined my marriage because I didn't want to have to deal with some of the real things because I'm just, I never dealt with my emotions. That's just the guy I am. I just don't deal with emotions. Well, get a lawyer. How'd I get here? Well, you're not honest with yourself, with your life, with things going on at the house. And if you would have told me during that time, hey man, you just have to stop lying. You have to be real. And even though the emotions that you feel, you think that they may not be heard or they may not be taken serious or whatever, you have to sit down and talk about them. You have to. And if you don't, then you're going to be raising a daughter half the time. Nothing is, I love being half in my daughter's life. I wish it was whole. I'll leave it as that. And I even told my ex that if I would have been honest and real and been doing some of the things that I'm doing now, I really think our marriage could have worked. And it had a lot of problems. But I would always blame something else. It's something else's problem. It's this or that. Oh, the relationship. The reason why I can't go to church and have a relationship with God is because of them, because of her. She ain't here. You still don't have a relationship with God. So it's like, what are you're going in circles. And then I had some people call me out on some stuff, and I was mad at them for years because it's their fault why I can't do these things. People might stop you from doing things, but they can't stop you from telling the truth. They can't. They can't stop you from being who you're supposed to be and who you know you're supposed to be. There's things that I have been honest about and open about, and I can control that. I can't control whether or not they want to beat me up. I can't control that. Go ahead. Because guess what? You can't change the fact that I want to be honest and open and that I want to change as a man. You can't change that. You can hit me 1,000 times. Still won't change the fact I want to do that. So it's these things that you hold up high above everything else, and you're like, well, I'll just lie so everyone else feels better. No one wants to hurt me. Nobody wants to judge me the certain way. People don't want to run my name through the mill at a place that it's like, who cares? You can't, though, say the Ben now is a liar and doesn't want to talk about real things or anything like that. Call me. Get a hold of me. Facebook Messenger. I got nothing to hide. I'll talk about anything. I don't care. I want a life of honesty, of being open, and I don't want to hide anything. I'm done hiding stuff. It's a nightmare to keep track of it all anyways. Mm-hmm. And anyone who keeps track of a bunch of lies, you're probably exhausted. You're probably really exhausted, and life is hard. And I know somebody, and I won't keep this going too much longer, but I know somebody that lies a lot and stuff like that as a joke and stuff. And they said, man, I'm always exhausted because I don't know who I told what. And it's like, dude, just stop doing it. And he's like, well, I enjoy it. I enjoy lying. That's a horrible way to live, but at least he's honest about not being honest. No, but there is so much freedom in just saying, these are my problems. And you'll never have to question or not whether you're in a spot you shouldn't be because of whatever lies. And I think that's one of the biggest freedoms.
Yeah.
Is I never have to question whether or not I'm where I should be because I had to crush other people under me to get there. And it's like, I'm real. This is what I'm dealing with. These are my struggles. And I would encourage every other person to say, okay, these are the things I've been struggling with. I need a good 2, max 3 people around me to keep me accountable.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 1. To say, no, you said you'd stop lying about that. You said that you would be this guy. You said that you're this fitness guy and all this stuff, and you said you want to love people. So you know what that means? I can't go around saying I'm going to kill everyone. Like, I got to go to the gym. I got to do all this stuff. And but it's because I want to. Last thing I'll leave you with, and I know I keep saying this, but things just keep going. Somebody once told me that if you fill your plate up with so much stuff that you're overwhelmed, it's your fault. So plan your life, set the standards of what you want to do, and if it gets overwhelming, you have too much stuff. You put too much stuff on your plate. You can't be going and blaming somebody else. You can't go over here and say, well, this group of people makes me do all this stuff, so I'm overwhelmed. You put it there. So stop complaining. Adjust what you find important in your life and start doing that. And then when it gets overwhelming, maybe take away a couple things until you get this stuff with your heart right, doing this stuff and saying, I'm going to do this stuff. I put this here. These are my goals. These are my standards. And then you grow. So you might be hearing a lot of this stuff, and you might do what I did last year and just say, screw everything. Screw everybody. I'm starting from scratch. Start with your standards, because I've currently lived this. Start with your standards of what you want to be in this life and be realistic with yourself. I started with 3 standards. I'm going to read more. Oh, that's hard. I'm going to go to the gym for an hour a day. I already was doing it. And I'm going to start my day off being happy and kind. That one kicks my butt daily. And I started small so that, I want to learn Russian. I want to do these things. I want to start a podcast. I want to do stuff. And it's not a burden. Oh, I got to go over and do a podcast. Oh, I got to make new videos on TikTok. Oh, I got to call Trevor. None of that is a burden in my life because I was disciplined with this. And I'm not overwhelmed because I decide what goes on my plate. So if you are at a point in your life where your plate is so full you don't know how to carry it or deal with it, take some stuff off your plate that you put on there. No one else is making you do anything, no matter how much you want to justify that. What you put on there, take some of it off and say, I need to get my heart right in this so that later when you add stuff, your heart is still right. And you can still follow your standards of being truthful, of being honest, of being open, and being who you want to be, and not have a bunch of chaos in your life. Because if there's a bunch of chaos in your life, 9 times out of 10, it's your fault. If you're just being real with yourself. So, what an episode.
For sure.
If you guys got any questions, or if you guys, this was his idea, not my idea. If you guys got any questions or any topics, but I do like it, that you guys think maybe, hey, I wish they talked about, describe it since you're the one who brought this up.
Yeah, if you guys want to drop in the comments or leave us a message or send us anything, you guys know who we are. You know how to get a hold of us. Send us a topic that you guys want us to talk about. If you guys have questions about life, drop them in that comment. Let us know what they are, and we'll discuss them. We'll show you our point of view, what we think, what's on our heart, and try to do the best we can. Will we get things wrong? Absolutely. Will we have all the answers? Not even close. But I know you're out there listening for a reason. You're looking for something. Help us help you.
So this is another episode of Life as I Know It, where it is unscripted and real. And, how we try to live our life is real, real and honest. And this is Trevor Holt. He's got a lawn care business. If you want to shout that out real quick.
The Lawn Guy. That's me. That's the name of the business. It's The Lawn Guy.
This is Trevor Holt. If you guys want to get a hold of him, you could probably message him on Facebook with whatever topics you have or something like that.
Anything.
My name is, I almost lied and just made a joke out of another guy, is Ben Howard. And if you guys got any questions, any topics or anything like that, go ahead and check that out. If you guys want to follow him on TikTok, it is HoltFam6.
HoltFam6. That's me.
If you want to follow me on TikTok, it is at LifeAsIKnowIt77. Or if you guys are into fitness or have any kind of fitness goals, it is Howard's Hustle, HOWARDS, Hustle, HUSTLE.
Yep.
Wow, my brain. So feel free to check those out. And thank you for coming to another episode. I think this is number 5. We enjoy the people who do watch it and come and find us in the real life, not the internet, and then question us about our podcast, Cordell, or the Parts Guys. And but it's a lot of fun. I know this one was pretty serious because, you know, we never know where it goes. Tonight I had obviously a lot on my mind, a lot of stuff I'm dealing with. Most of this was me and Trevor going, oh my goodness, he's talking about a lot. But it's one of those things where I hope it helps somebody. I hope somebody out there that might be dealing with, I don't know whether or not I should just come clean because I feel like an imposter and I don't feel like myself. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. No matter what comes out of you being real and not being fake anymore, I promise you it's 100 times better than you keep lying. I promise you that. Whatever hell, because you're going to find light on the other side, you have to go through to get to being who you know you should be and being truthful. It is worth it. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you out of experience, it's worth it. Don't waste another year or second of your life being a hypocrite of who you know you should be. Do it right now. This is another episode of Life as I Know It, episode 5, and goodbye. Have a good one.